How old are you? I'm not asking to judge you. I'm asking because time is real and it is not slowing down for either of us. How many years have you known that this habit is draining you? How many times have you told yourself that you would get serious next week, next month, after this one last time? How many streaks started with energy and ended quietly at night when no one was watching? Look at your life honestly, not emotionally, not dramatically, just honestly. How many versions of you never got built? There was a version of you who trained harder, a version who took more risks, a version who walked into rooms with presence instead of hesitation, a version who built the business instead of thinking about it, a version who approached the woman instead of replaying the moment later in his head, a version who didn't need constant stimulation to feel alive. And every time you said, "I'll start tomorrow," that version of you got delayed. I'm not speaking from a pedestal. I've wasted years too. I've had the same cycles, the same late-night promises, the same morning regret, the same quiet frustration of knowing I was capable of more and still choosing less. This is not about shame. Shame keeps you stuck. This is about clarity. If you are honest with yourself, you already know the pattern. You feel it in your chest when you think about the time that has slipped through your fingers. You feel it when you imagine where you could be right now if you had locked in earlier. The truth is simple and hard at the same time. You are not behind because you lack intelligence. You are not behind because you lack opportunity. You are behind because you have been negotiating with weakness for too long. Every time you chose the quick release instead of discipline, you paid with focus. Every time you chose the screen instead of discomfort, you paid with momentum. Every time you listened to the quiet voice that said, "It's not that bad," you pushed your future self a little further away. You can ignore this. You can click off this video and tell yourself you'll think about it later. But if something in you feels uncomfortable right now, that discomfort is not an attack. It is awareness. You are standing in front of a mirror. The question is not whether semen retention works. The question is whether you are finally tired of living below your potential. The question is whether you are done repeating the same year over and over again. There comes a point where you stop saying, "I'm trying," and you either get serious or you accept the consequences of staying the same. This is that point. And before we go any further, I need you to understand something clearly. The real battle is not physical, it is psychological. It is the voice in your head that has kept you small for years. Let's talk about that voice. You know the voice. It doesn't sound evil. It doesn't shout. It doesn't threaten you. It sounds reasonable. It shows up when you're tired, when you're bored, when you've had a long day, when you feel lonely, when you feel stressed, when you feel like you deserve something. It whispers, "Just a quick peek, that's all. You don't even have to do anything, just look." It says, "It's been a few good days. You're fine. You're in control now." It says, "Download the app again, just to see what's out there. You don't have to message anyone, just check." It says, "You've been disciplined all week. One time won't matter." That voice has cost you years. The most dangerous part is that it never sounds dramatic. It never says, "Let's destroy your momentum." It never says, "Let's sabotage your confidence." It never says, "Let's delay your life again." It sounds calm, logical, almost supportive. That's why it works. It doesn't attack you with intensity. It negotiates with you in weakness. It waits until your guard is down, until you're alone, until you're scrolling, until your brain is already slightly stimulated, and then it offers you relief, not pleasure, relief. And that's the trap. You are not always chasing excitement. Most of the time, you are escaping discomfort. The devil voice doesn't promise greatness. It promises comfort. It promises a break. It promises that you don't have to feel restless for a few minutes. And every time you accept that deal, you strengthen the pattern. You teach your brain that tension should be relieved instantly, that boredom should be eliminated, that loneliness should be numbed, that stress should be avoided instead of faced. And the next time tension shows up, the voice comes back stronger. You start bargaining. You start saying things like, "This is the last time," or After this, I'm done for real, or I'll restart tomorrow. But tomorrow never arrives in the way you imagine it, because the problem was never the content, it was the agreement you keep making with that voice. If you really think about it, the voice has never once made your life better, not once. It has never improved your focus. It has never improved your confidence. It has never made you proud of yourself. It has only kept you small. The hardest moment is not day 30. It's not day 90. The hardest moment is the first time you hear that whisper and you refuse to negotiate. That is the moment you get serious. Because when you finally recognize the voice for what it is, you stop debating with it. You stop trying to outsmart it. You stop pretending you can manage it. You shut it down. And when you do, something shifts. But before we get to that shift, you need to understand the real cost of continuing to listen. Time is easy to ignore. When people say you've wasted years, it sounds dramatic, almost abstract. Years are just numbers, calendars flipping, birthdays passing. That's not what hurts. What hurts is the detail. It's the conversation you didn't start because you didn't feel grounded enough in yourself. It's the risk you didn't take because your confidence was unstable. It's the physique you talked about building but never fully committed to because your discipline kept collapsing at night. It's the leadership you never stepped into because you were still negotiating with your own impulses. It's the business idea that stayed an idea. It's the woman you didn't approach because you didn't feel solid in your presence. Those are not abstract losses. Those are specific moments where a stronger version of you would have acted differently. And this is where it gets uncomfortable. The man you could have been is years ahead of you. Not in fantasy, in reality. He trained when you hesitated. He spoke when you stayed quiet. He committed when you bargained. He kept his edge when you dulled yours. He is not some mythical hero. He is the accumulated result of small, disciplined decisions made consistently over time. And every time you said just this once, you didn't just break a streak. You postponed becoming him. That realization should not create self-hatred. It should create responsibility. Because once you see the gap clearly, you can't pretend it isn't there. And that quiet awareness, that weight in your chest when you realize how much further you could have been by now, that's not shame. That's the beginning of quiet rage. The kind that doesn't scream. The kind that decides. At some point, reflection becomes enough. You've seen the pattern, you've felt the cost, you've watched the gap grow between who you are and who you could be. Now it's decision time. This is where regret turns into fire. Not loud fire, not dramatic. Just a clean internal shift. No more almost. No more casual discipline that disappears the moment you're tired or bored. No more streaks you secretly know you're going to break. No more pretending you're serious while still leaving the door open for, just in case. No more negotiating with that voice. You don't need another motivational video. You don't need another plan. You don't need another reset. You need a line. A moment where you stop treating this like a hobby and start treating it like a standard. This is the point where you stop saying, "I'm trying," and start saying, "I don't do that anymore." Not because it's easy, but because it's beneath the man you are building. You don't beg for strength. You don't explain yourself to your urges. You don't argue with weakness. You decide. And once you decide, you move differently. Not emotionally, not impulsively, deliberately. Because from this point forward, you are no longer experimenting, you are rebuilding. And there is no going back to casual self-sabotage once you've seen what it costs. Let this be the moment, not another video you nod to, not another late-night surge of clarity that fades by morning. Let this be the turning point, the day you stop treating semen retention like a nice idea, like a productivity hack, like something you should probably do. It is not optional anymore, it is a standard. And from here, it becomes simple, binary. You either keep negotiating with weakness, or you lock in. There is no middle ground. There is no half-serious version of this that works long-term. As long as you are still trying, you are still leaving the door open. And that door is exactly where the devil voice walks back in. This is not about hype. It is not about streak counts. It is not about proving something to anyone. It is about identity. You don't try semen retention anymore. You are a man who does not touch it. You are a man who does not peek. You are a man who does not reinstall the app just to see. You are a man who does not trade long-term power for short-term relief. That shift changes everything, because when behavior is tied to identity, it stops being a daily debate. It becomes who you are. So draw the line, not emotionally, not dramatically, calmly, decisively. And if you're ready to stop leaking years and start rebuilding with intent, then let this be the video you look back on and say, that was the moment. If you watched this far, drop a sword in the comments. I want to see who is done negotiating and ready to lock in for real. No more excuses, no more almost, no more casual discipline. Stay strong, stay sharp. Unleash your warrior.